Hello everyone, welcome again. In this Python for Testers tutorial, we are going to learn about operators in Python. So Python operators are categorized in different categories, and we need to understand these operator categories and the operators that you can use into the Python programming, or when we will be using this Python language for Selenium automation, we'll be using these operators a lot. So understanding these operators is very important, and we'll cover all of that in this particular tutorial. So I'll quickly go ahead and create a new Python file, and I'll name it as operators_in_Python. All right. So this is .py file. Let me open this notepad, and these are the categories of operators that we'll be covering, right? So in Python, if you see, the operators can be categorized in different categories. So arithmetic, assignment, comparison, logical, identity, membership, and bitwise operators. So let me quickly comment these out, and we'll cover each of these operators one by one. So let's go ahead with the arithmetic operators. So as the name suggests, these operators work on the numbers and will provide you the results. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents, all those sort of operators fall into the arithmetic operator. So say, for example, I will define a variable x and assign the value, say for example 15, and then y I'll assign the value as 4. Okay, so now let me use the arithmetic operator. So the first operator that I'll use is, say for example, I want to add these two numbers and I want to print it on the console. So x plus y, right? Now let me quickly copy and paste these, and we'll use the other operators as well, the commonly used arithmetic operators. So plus, then we have the minus or subtraction, then we have multiplication, which is the star, then we have division, which is /, and then we have the modulo operator as well. So this is the remainder. So whatever division happens, the remainder will be returned as part of the modulo operator. Then we have the exponentiation. So exponentiation is basically x to the power y, which is 2 stars instead of 1 star. So 1 star is the multiplication, 2 stars is the exponentiation. So exponentiation. So x to the power of y. And then we have another, which is the floor division, which is double /. So what this floor division does is it will round the result to the nearest whole number. Okay, so let's run this and see the result. Okay, so now you can see, let me move it a little further. So now you can see x plus y is 15 plus 4 is 19, then x minus y 11, then multiplication, then we have the division, and then we have this modulo, right? So the remainder, so x divided by y is 4 times 3 is 12, and then remainder is 3, and that's 3 is returned, right? Then we have exponentiation, so that means 15 to the power of 4, and that's what the exponentiation or the number is returned. Now then we have the floor division, which is basically 3, so it rounds the result to the nearest whole number, and that's what is returned in the floor division, right? So these are the commonly used arithmetic operators in Python. Okay, now going back to, let me comment this out and start with the assignment operators. Okay, so I'll quickly cover the assignment operator. We have anyways covered that as part of the arithmetic. So when we say assignment operator, so if I define a variable x and we use this equal to sign, right? This equal to sign, this is nothing but this is assignment operator. So it is assigning this value 10 to this particular variable. Okay, now with the assignment operator, there are many more patterns that you can use as well. So say for example, I want to increment this value of 10 or add a 2 number. So I can say 10 plus 2, right? So what this will do is, if I print the value now, print the value of x, so it will print 2, right? Let me run this. So it will print the value as 12. So because I have added 2, right? So now with the assignment operator, I can also do it like x plus is equal to 2, right? So whatever the value of x is, let me delete that. So current value of x is 10 and I want to add 2 to that current value. Okay, so answer will still be 12. If I run this, answer is still 12. So I can do something like that. This is more of a shortcut. Just give me a sec. Yeah. Now similarly, I can also do minus. Okay, so if I want to subtract something out of the current value of x, I can do x minus is equal to 4. So these are some of the assignment operator. You can do multiplication, you can do division. So all of that, those operations in the assignment operators are possible. So I can also do like multiplication, I can do division, I can do exponentiation. So whatever is possible in the arithmetic operator here, I can do all of that here as well. Okay, so I can do exponentiation as well. So double star, and if I run this now, you will see the last value, whatever value has been calculated based on all these calculations has been printed here, right? So if you want to have a look at each and every of these operations, let me add a print statement after each of these lines so that you can see the results accordingly. Okay, so you can see the first print statement, what it did is it incremented the value of 10 to with 2, 12 got printed, then the value of x became 12, right? So after 12 I subtracted 4, so the next value was 8. Then I multiplied 8 with 4, so 32, and then 32 divided by 4 is again 8, right? And then 8 to the power 4 is now whatever the last value is. Okay, so these are the assignment operators in Python. So there are many more. You can just go through the documentation. There are many more operators. So basically you can use floor division or division. So all of that is possible. All right, but in terms of testing, this is good enough. As far as you understand the concept, you will be perfectly fine. Okay, now coming back to the comparison operators. So comparison operators are very important. We'll be using them a lot. So when it comes to comparison operator, what we do is we basically compare two values. So for example, x, the value of x is 10, the value of y is 6. Okay, now with the comparison operators, we can compare the values. So whether they are equal, whether they are unequal, less than equal to, greater than equal to, all those operators fall into the category of the comparison operator. So if I want to compare these two values, so for example, if I say print x, if I want to see whether these values are equal, so what this will do is it will return whether it is true or false, right? So comparison operators will return the boolean, so whether the comparison is successful, is whether the values are equal or not. Okay, so in this particular case it will return false, right? So you can see x is not equal to y, so this is the equal to operator, right? So single equal to is the assignment and double equal to is the equal to operator. Now if I want to say not equal to, say for example, if I say whether x is not equal to y, right? So in this case you simply remove this double equal to. So what this operator will do is it will compare whether x is not equal to y. So in this case x is not equal to y, so it should print true, right? So in the first case it will print false, in the second case it will print true. Then we have greater than or equal to, so all of those will return the boolean value. So if I want to compare x is greater than or x is less than, okay, that I can do, or I can also use, let me quickly copy and paste, so I can use less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Okay, so all of these are the comparison operators, and if we run this, in this case you can see x is greater than y. So yes, that's true. So in the third line is true. X is less than y, no, that's printed as false. X is less than or equal to y, false. X is greater than or equal to y, so that's true. All right, so these are the comparison operators in Python. Okay, let me comment that out and move to the next one. So basically the logical operator. Okay, so when we move to the logical operator, so logical operators combine two conditional statements, right? So you can use the and, or, not, and verify that the two conditional statements are returning true or false. So you can compare those. Okay, so say for example, I have a variable x which is 10 and then variable y which is 4. Okay, and in this particular case I want to use this comparison operator and combine the comparison operators. I'll use the logical operator, so and, or, not. Okay, so how we can use it? So basically, for example, if I want to check whether x is equal to y, right, and then I can say and x is greater than y. Okay, so now in this case what I'm trying to check is, this is the logical operator. Okay, so this is the logical operator and then similarly if I want to say use or. Okay, so these are the logical operators and then there is not as well. So if in this case I am comparing two conditionals together, I can use the logical operator. So if I run this, let's see what it is printed, right? So the first one is false and the second one is true, right? So what is happening in the first case? In the first case, it is checking the first conditional. Okay, so it will check whether x is equal to y. So in this case, it will return false. And then in the second case, x is greater than y, which is true, right? So false and true. So when there is and operator, so false and true is false. Okay, now when we are using the or operator, so in this case, even any of them is true, then it will return true. So x is equal to y is false, but x is greater than y is true, so true has been returned. So these are the conditional operators, or basically logical operators. Sorry, not conditional, the logical operator. So the logical operator combine conditional statements. Okay, so that's what you usually use these logical operators for. Okay, so let me quickly comment this out. So and, or, and not is another one that you can use as well in the logical operator. So what is the next one? The next one is the identity operator. So let me go back and let me quickly copy all of these so that we don't have to go back again and again. And okay, so now in the identity operators, two objects are compared. So if the objects are same, then you will get true. If the objects are different, then you will get false. Now say for example, I define list here. So say I will add some values there. Okay, so I'll say RCV Academy, and then the next value there will be software testing mentor. Okay, so say for example just these two values there. Okay, and then another variable y, and I'll keep the values as same. Okay, now in this particular case, if you see, the content of these two lists is exactly same. Now if I say the identity operator and I say is x, if x is y, right, so it will compare the object. So let's see what it returns. So because the content is exactly same, what do you think it will return? So if I say x is y, okay, so let me run this, and you can see that it has returned false, right? But if I say x is equal to y, okay, so in this particular case, when we say double equal sign, then it will return true. The reason for that is because the content, when with this particular operator, the contents are being compared, so the contents are same. But with the is operator or is not, it compares the object. right? So when this particular list is stored, it is stored, or the object is created, a separate object is created in both of these cases. And with the identity operator, it compares the object, not the content. Okay, with this equal to operator, you will see that it compares the content. All right, so that's what identity operators are. So there is one more, so is not there as well. So this is, so in the identity operator, you have is and is not. Okay, so if you say x is y, so it will return false. In the second case, it should return true because these two objects are not same, right? Now, coming back to the membership operators. Okay, so let me comment this out. And in the membership operator, so let me copy these two lists here. So the membership operators are in and not in. So what membership operators check is whether the value that you specify is in the list or not. So for example, I want to say, I want to find that STM, whether STM is in this particular list. So what I can say is print STM in y. So what it will return is, it will return true because STM is in this particular list. All right, so let me run this and you will see that true got printed, right? And then if I say STM not in y, then it will return false. Okay, so let me run again. So you can see in the first case it has printed true, and the second case is that it has printed false. All right, so these are the membership operators. So when you want to check whether the value that you are looking for is in the list or not, then you use the membership operators. These operators will be very important in Selenium automation, so we'll be using them a lot to check the values. And when we go to the advanced section of framework design and doing the advanced automation, you will be using these concepts a lot. Okay, so the next one is the bitwise operator. So bitwise operators I'll cover in detail for the advanced user. This won't be used much because these operators work mostly on the binaries, okay, or the binary numbers. So when we say bitwise operators, it's basically compares the binary numbers and works on those numbers. So bitwise operators are, you know, single ampersand or the pipe basically. So the pipe, so and, or, and then you have not, XOR. So all of those are present in the bitwise operator. So this is not, this is or, and this is and. Okay, so these are the commonly used one. And then you have this XOR as well, which is basically, so this is XOR. Okay, so these are the ones. Then you have shift left, shift right. So these are all operators which work on the binary digits. So say for example, let me remove this. And so usually if you are aware of the binary numbers, so 0 in binary is 0 0, then 1 in binary is 0 1, and then 2 in binary is 1 0, and 3 is 1 1. Right, now say for example I have to use the binary or bitwise operator. So let me comment these out, and now let me define a variable x and store the number 0 there, and y, say for example, holds the value 1. Okay, now if I have to use the binary operators, so if I want to use x and then binary operator and y, so what it will print is, in this particular case, let me run it and we'll see the outcome. So it has printed 0. So when you use and bitwise operator, it will return 1 when, or it will set the bit as 1 only if both are 1. So say for example in this particular case, so if I compare, or if I do this and operation over 1 and 3, say for example, let me store 3 in y, 1 in x, and 3 in y, and we do the AND operation. So in this particular case, what will be returned? So the first bit, when it will be compared, so 1 and 1, it will return 1, and then 0 and 1 will be 0, right? So 0, 1. So it will return the number 1 in this particular case. So if I run this, you will see it has returned number 1. Let me comment these out here. Print statement. Okay. And that's what the bitwise operator AND is. Now if I say OR, then it will print something else, because in the OR what happens is either of the bits is 1, then it will set it as 1, right? So 1 or 1, it sets this bit as 1, and then 0 or 1 is 1. In this case, it will return 3, right? So you can see the answer is 3 because both the bits have been set to 1 when this comparison happened. Then in that case, it has returned 3. So these are the bitwise operators. These won't be utilized a lot into the Selenium automation unless you want to learn in detail. I'll post a separate video maybe for the bitwise operators separately, which will cover a lot more advanced concept if required. But in the general Selenium automation, you won't be using bitwise operators that much. So this information is good enough. If you want more detail, go ahead and read out the documentation, Google, and you'll find a lot more information on the bitwise operators. So that's all about the operators in Python. We have covered a huge bunch of details in terms of different operators, the categorization, arithmetic, assignment, comparison, logical, identity, membership, and bitwise. And these operators will be using a lot into Python programming and Selenium automation. So please make sure you memorize these or practice these, basically not memorize, I would say. Practice them and you will by default become very comfortable with these operators. So that's all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much for watching.